All right. What's up, everybody, and welcome back. We got ourselves a big best of 5 here. It's the quarterfinals of the ESL Masters Dallas. And after being sick for a week, like I said, I am going to be covering all of those top matches from the tournament. Might even cover one or two of the series that I cast live, so that we can get a bit more perspective with me in control of the camera and looking at what goes on between these top dogs. BYUN in the top left side of, bottom left side of Post Youth, Dark in the top right. And Dark is going for is that an 18 or a 19 sporting pool? I think it's a 19 sporting pool after hatchery. This is a very greedy build order for Dark right now. He's also got a drone out there scouting. This looks like his gasless 3 hatchery build order. Hello. All right, yeah, he scouts for proxy barracks, and if he doesn't see them, he goes and plops down a very quick third hatchery. Already mining these gold minerals long distance here, since he's already double stacked up in the main base, and that's a very nice way to start things off. However, very greedy. And if he was getting, say, 3 racks Reaper rushed, or there was a proxy barracks that he doesn't scout and it's just out of range and a bunch of Marines come in, he definitely would be cause trouble. Luckily for him, BYUN is going for that 1 racks expand, just a straight up standard Reaper opening. And even though the Reaper gets there very early on this map, it is one of the shorter rush distances in the entire map pool. What are you going to do? You know, pick off a drone maybe. There's a queen building, there's 4 zerglings. The second queen does get delayed a little bit because you do want to make sure you've got the zerglings out in time to help deal with the Reaper. And he's going to come in and see what damage he can find. Now, these two are neck and neck in their results, 50-50. However, you got to realize there's a special factor in play. They're playing live on LAN here. Actually, Dark kind of blocking the Reaper, but he's got multiple exit points, so easy gets out. Yeah, so basically, they're 50-50 across a massive number of games. BYUN has that with Dark. He has that with Solar. There's like a bunch of players that BYUN is just always competitive with and has fantastic matches against. I gotta check his results against Hero, actually, because I feel like those guys go back and forth pretty well as well. Anyways, long story short, Dark performs much better at live tournaments than BYUN does, because he doesn't have all those wrist issues, those somewhat psychosomatic issues, some would call it. I really feel it's to do with stress of competing. BYUN really cares so much about getting results, and I really think the man needs to do some mindfulness or something. I don't know, some breathing exercises, because he looks so tense when he gets to those live tournaments, and you can see him in between games and series clutching his wrists in pain. And he says he never has this issue online, no matter how fast the games get, no matter how hectic they are. But whenever he's on camera, he starts to feel that issue. To be fair, and this is something we've experienced, even he has had it at home, but when he's on camera at home. At Pigfest, for instance, multiple times he's requested to not be on camera while he plays, and we've indulged him as much as we can, because obviously we don't want him, you know, losing just because he can't bloody use his wrists properly and use his mouse correctly. But oh, very greedy attempt to get the tumor, but doesn't end up losing the Reaper, so that's fine. Overlord's going to sacrifice in. It will be finding out about the fact that this is a lot of extra Marines, but actually hides most of them, just sending 1 or 2 extra. I think he saw the extra barracks, though. Yeah, Dark sees an extra barracks. Does he know it's a 3 command center into 3 barracks build, though? Not necessarily. Very greedy opening here for BYUN. Now, 5 Overlords building at once. Dark has apparently heard me making fun of him about getting supply blocked constantly over the last couple of years. And he said, not today. And I actually like the flexibility this gives you if you're not sure how committed this 3-Rex is, because if you do see that it appears to be, oh, it's just 2 base, mass Marines going to hit me at 5 minutes, you can make mass units reactively. However, guys, his link speed's just started. How greedy do you want to be, Dark? He's trying to play link speed into double upgraded Zerglings, no safety roaches, no link speed ready, nothing but queens. This is the greediest opening I've ever seen. Honestly, I think even though you've gone greedy 3cc as BYUN, you're going to fall behind here. I think Dark has predicted the sort of opening BYUN was going to do and has said, you know what, I think I can just get away with rushing up to 1-1 upgrades, and it could absolutely work out. I've been heavily critical of Dark's ability to survive early timing attacks and pressure while playing Ling Bane, as opposed to his Roach play, which is rock solid. Problem, even though he is normally, when he's playing like what I would call a normal build in that position where he's vulnerable, he's played crazy greedy this game to the point where he has such a lead. And once he gets past the like 9-minute period, I always say Dark's one of the best Ling Bane players in the world. But it's just that middle period of when you're establishing your 4th and 5th base, that he's vulnerable. But Dark's 4th and 5th base are going to be up by like 6.5 minutes. He's going up to 70 drones. I do think he should stop at 70 workers and start massing Ling Bane. He's only got 18 Zerglings building. That's his first 20 Lings. This is a lot of Marines. Stim's done. 1-1 in shields is almost there as well. I think that gold base could be sniped. The question is, does BYUN feel confident committing to it? Right now, Massling producing. If Dark builds any more drones, he's a crazy person. He should be building Overlords as well. This is something most players build a mixture of army and Overlords at the same time. Dark not doing that. BYUN's going to stim in and go for the gold base. You can't fight this with just Zerglings and Queens alone. That's too many Marines, and he will have to cancel the hatchery. Good choice to pull back for Dark. Burrow's on the way. I don't really see that much use for Burrow on this map. Queens are going to move forward. Oh, already losing 2 Queens without transfusing. Oh my gosh, 3 Queens going down. Bit of a nasty fight there for Dark. And BYUN does save most of those Marines, only leaves 2 behind. Units lost tab 2-1 in favor of BYUN so far. But does it really matter that you lose the gold base? No, it's the Queens and the Zerglings going down that could be problematic, especially when you've only got 6 Queens. He pulled every Queen to the front, as Dark is wont to do. We know he does this, and that's why I've always said anytime you can pressure Dark without overcommitting, you actually hurt his macro because of that. That being said, macro hatchery's up. This base, 4th base is there, 5th base and 6th base being rebuilt. Ling run by on the left side comes in, and BYUN sees all those Zerglings, and he's going to split his army up to make sure he's okay. 2 twos on the way at a very similar time for both sides. Next push moving down towards that gold base. This is always the angle you really don't want to fight on as the Zerg, which is why I love Dark kind of clearing that depot on the left and getting ready to do run-bys, because I feel like massive Ling run-bys and Ling Bane counterattacks are essentially the way you want to play this map always. BYUN ready for it though. He knows that it's the case. He's got the tanks in a really conservative spot back there, and he's just holding this high ground going, yeah, you're never really going to be able to mine off this gold. Starts poking on the left and the right at the same time. Ling Bane on the left does get spotted. BYUN says rather than pull back, just keep going forward. He knows he's got plenty of units popping out at his rally point that can defend this. And look, another tank a little bit further forward. The Marines are going to push to that right side. They can always loop down south past this water, up onto the high ground to get away from any incoming Banelings. Not to mention, siege tank on the high ground already takes out 1 Baneling. Double drop in the north, dancing around the back. Looks like there was a big gap in production for BYUN, guys. Why are there not that many more units at his rally? Unless he just reinforced these Marines here. Does feel like BYUN missed a bit of production there. Maybe was supply blocked, but 4th command center's up. 2nd factory is going. He's going to go to 8 barracks as well. Just patrolling this to keep Dark guessing about what's going on. Queens are pinned in the back because of that. Massling Bane counterattack on the left side. BYUN's going to move out in that direction. I love this burrowed Zergling, but can't quite see the army. Widowmine. Ooh, kill that. Okay, good detonation of a single Baneling to make sure he could kill that. Marines getting overrun here. BYUN does not quite have the numbers, but more reinforcements come out. Banelings will connect. If you can get the mineral line, that would be pretty big. Depot does not raise in the main. Oh gosh, BYUN, what are we doing? Massive mistake for BYUN to not raise that depot. That was a huge mistake. 16 workers go down there and the 3rd base. Dark finding damage in a situation where it really felt like BYUN should have had control over this map. Double drop on the left. This is the one that was up in the dead space behind that top left base. Pulls back here. Gets a few creep tumors, saves most of those Marines, moves around. Unfortunately for him, he misses the 2 front tumors. So as long as Dark fills in the gap behind, he should be good. Dark completely missing creep on that right side. Still a tank on the high ground. Got to get rid of that, man. A single tank. Keeping Dark on the back foot, might even cancel the hatchery. Wow. And he reclaims this position. Dark just assumes there's an army up there when there isn't. Banelings on that left side. Plenty of Ling Bane ready to push back these Marines. And nice hot pickup by BYUN. Massling down the bottom right. Going to run in towards the 3rd base. Without Banelings, though, going to be hard to stop those SCVs from just mineral walking out of there. Siege tank creates a bit of a choke point on that left side in between the gold minerals. Dark's on the back foot now. Even though he had a very greedy start, he's still on just Massling Bane. He is trying to get the 3-3 and the adrenal glands up. This game's still very close. Double drop there on the left. Massling comes in. 15 workers go down. Wow, I was not expecting a full 15 worker kills. 17 even as the dust settles. Very well done there. BYUN's income's getting absolutely shattered by these pushes, and Dark's income, what's it at? Still 3,000 minerals? Yeah, I mean, he's at 74 workers, but they're mining pretty well. The lack of creep on this right side really... I think BYUN, though, has to pull back. This is too small an army. At this point, BYUN needs to gather his forces. His 3-3 is later than the Zergs, or at least later than the +3 melee. Marines coming in. Watch out for the Banelings. Oh my god. Okay, BYUN focuses down most of the Banelings. Viper comes in. More Ling Bane. Got to pick up. Get out of there. Saves a few of these Marines. Quite a lot of Marines and tanks go down. You got to be careful with trades like this as BYUN, though. They are quite risky. Siege tank in the middle there. That's Chad Hammer with 22 kills. Fourth base is finally up on the planetary. Does BYUN slow down and play a long game? He's rebuilding workers. He's making 3-3. I wouldn't be surprised to see him build a 5th command center and then try to float that down onto the gold. And he's really got Dark's territory controlled. Like, Dark is kind of stuck on 5 bases. This base, main, natural mining out. Third base is going to start losing mineral patches in a few seconds. Still got 2 fresh bases on the left side, so I don't see the income significantly dropping for Dark. But it's going to get harder and harder for Dark to secure new bases, whereas just taking this gold base is trivial in comparison. Much easier. That being said, there's Vipers out and Ultras, and with +3 chitinous plating, sorry, carapace, as well as the chitinous plating done, that makes things a little awkward. Widowmine gets 6 kills before it does get taken down. A single Zergling inside the main base there. It does get, look like maybe F2'd home. 5 Pirate Banelings, that's a crazy move, but because the Watchtower wasn't taken, he could have actually put those further forward. Higher chance of them working. But I don't think Dark realized that these Watchtowers haven't been cleared yet. Left side hasn't been cleared either. Nidus Worm on the way for Dark. Going to use that just for Ultras, Lings in the back door, bit of distraction. Seems very evenly matched. Very evenly matched. 3,000 resources lost difference between them. Pretty standard for this sort of game. With the amount of damage Dark's done to his economy, I do favor Dark's position. Just feels like he's a little bit less fragile, especially with Ultras and Vipers out. 5 Burrowed Banelings on the ramp get scanned. They go down. Gets both of the creep tumors there. Lings on the bottom right, ready. Oh, mass ling drop. This is huge. Mass ling drop, dude. Ling drops are something people have finally started using. It's such a good way to open up a new front and use some of your cheapest units that kind of just die to Widowmine splash and don't really get to do anything. They all get stuck behind each other in a frontal fight, but you drop 50, 60 Zerglings in the back of your base. Like, what is that, guys? 1, 2, 3, 4. It's essentially 5 full Overlords. 5 times 8. It's 40 supply. It's not a lot of supply. It's only minerals. It's not a big mineral expense. Nice Widowmine shot there. The first Widowmine didn't fire, but the second one did. This is a distraction from Dark. He's trying to keep him occupied while those Lings go in the back door. Tries to burrow some Banelings, but they do go down. They get scanned, of course. Mass Zergling drop in the back. Oh, if he got the 3-3, it would have been big, but 3-3 finishes just before the Ling drop comes in. Marine Marauder on the right side, microing its heart out. BYUN is trying to out-micro Dark right now, but Dark is into his base with a mass Ling drop. One Engineering Bay does go down. Not as important as it would have been just 20 seconds sooner. Parasitic Bomb does get split against. Beautiful splits, man. Even while all this stuff is going on, I love the skill of these players. It really makes you wonder just how they keep track of 3 places at once so constantly. You can see the way Dark's just like attack on the left, attack on the right, attack here. Problem is this attack on the left kind of stalled out there. Whereas I think if he was actually forcing BYUN to micro in a 3rd location, BYUN really would have faltered. That was a good catch on the corner. BYUN overextending with the counterattack. BYUN needs to pull back, let these units heal, but he's also going to deal with the Ling drop. Guys, that he didn't deal with it. Like, yes, he made it lift, but look, now it's going to come straight back in and cause a lot of distraction. So this is something he should have left units there, but he's just pulled back to the front because the army comes in, he F2s his army to the front, and now look, army on the left, army on the right, and Lings in the back. So Lings in that mineral line, Lings in this mineral line. Dude, stretching out BYUN's multitasking so well right now. Yes, the bio cleans up the main and the natural, but that's 2 scans, and he splits his army for it. He stims after the Ultras. They immediately just run away. Right side, he's going to run in over there. The Widowmines aren't burrowed. BYUN desperately trying to handle all this. Look, the Baneling's going to try and detonate on those Widowmines. Dark, realizing that is a juicy clump of those, does sacrifice about 3 or 4 Banelings for 3 Widowmines. We've still got the Overlords hanging around, but these Zerglings at least have been cleaned up. It's maxed out versus maxed out now. 6,000 resource lost advantage for BYUN. Dark's keeping him on the back foot, which is nice because BYUN's a better attacking player than he is at defending, but overall, BYUN's done a good job of weathering the storm until now. Those Marauders getting surrounded up top is big. Parasitic Bombs on the Medivacs. Oh gosh. Big Parasitic Bombs on the Medivacs. Oh my god. He's losing so many. His bio's already heavily wounded as well, guys. Massive wounds on these units. The Viper does chase a bit too far and goes in. Of course, BYUN's counterattacking at the same time. What a psychopath. He's going to get out there. Hydras and Queens on top. These Marauders are going to get overwhelmed. They don't have any answer to the Zerglings. Single Widowmine will cover their retreat a little bit. BYUN has to try and pull back. He's got to get out of here. He needs to give his units time to heal. So much of his stuff is deep in the red and orange. His whole army is compromised right now. He's on 9 Medivacs. Does he have a fusion core? He doesn't. He needs Caduceus Reactor. I know that sounds kind of silly, but it really is important right now for him to get a fusion core and get that energy upgrade for the medevacs. Double energy regen is huge because look, they're all completely empty. A lot of them are in the red as well. If he could repair them, that would be great. But you can tell BYUN's struggling just to get rid of the changelings, trying to land his command center here. He's going to unload that. He should be repairing the medevacs, but he's so busy with everything else trying to get this established on the 5th base. That is the main base that lifted down, of course. And more Ling drops in the back. Oh, Ultra's in the front door. Ling's in the back. Hydra Baneling on the right side as well. On the left side, the Ultra Bane does fall back because BYUN's got a lot of his army there. But look at this. Hydra's going in on that right. The Ultra Ling turns around again. He says, you chased up the ramp, silly boy. BYUN with very quick reactions does take down these Ultras. A lot of units do go down there. In the back of the base, the Ling's still wreaking havoc. Looks like that's going to get cleaned up by the Bio as it gets over there. At the same time, though, 2 command centers went down to these Hydras. That is huge. A lot of SCVs as well. The Hydras do need to try and escape. They're very valuable units, but now closing the gap. That was a very efficient trade for Dark. He actually out-traded BYUN in that series of fights. Look, there's even an Ultra on the left side forcing that base to lift, and just continuing to do these Ling drops is big. I really feel like he needs to put a few turrets around here or something to really punish this. The fact that the Dropper Lords aren't getting killed each time they go in and out is massive. Gold base drops minerals, drops the mules there, but oh no, they're exposed at the same time down in the right. Ling Bane, Hydra rolls in. The medevacs, 3 medevacs get popped, and as soon as the Bio closes on it, he runs away. BYUN just cannot keep up with the multi-prong, the movement, the constant having to stim, and those Ling drops in the back door. Now with Nidus Worms added to it, that was an excellent game one. As I said, guys, do I think Dark's a bad Ling Bane player? No. He has one weak spot in the mid-game. If he gets past that spot, his multitasking is incredibly scary, possibly the best in the world at just attacking from 3 or 4 sides. And if you give him the ability to distract you in the back door, man, he will take advantage. Well, despite some good early trades here for BYUN in the top right, struggle to handle the Ling Bane counterattacks of Dark. And I think that first one that got 16 workers when it probably shouldn't. But then, you know, that kind of, I think, got Dark back to even footing. Whereas he was behind after that early game, remember? He was behind. He took a lot of damage with that 5th base getting cancelled multiple times, all of his creep getting pushed back. But I feel like that evened things out. And BYUN could have just raised his depot wall, ran his SCVs away on the 3rd. He would have been fine. So a mistake there for BYUN. Let Dark back into the game. But it was really the Ling drops, of course, that sealed the deal. As Dark once again goes for the greediest 3-hatch. This is so disgusting. And if he got away with it again, he would absolutely be soaring. But remember what we said at the last game? If your opponent does go 3-Rex Reaper or they proxy barracks and you don't see it, you are in trouble. And 2-Rex Reaper, Dark might think, oh, I'm okay. But normally with a 2-Rex Reaper, they build their command center at 210. So in 10 seconds, he's going to see no command center and he's going to know exactly what's happening. So Dark, let's go to Dark's vision, guys. He should be looking at his Overlord right now. And seeing no command center. Yeah, he sees no command center at 210. Okay, what's his response going to be? He's only got 1 queen building. Guys, he needs to build another queen. That second queen's a little bit late in the main base. He needs to build an Overlord right now. He still hasn't built his Overlord. I think he's panicking because he knows he's under pressure. He's forgot to build his Overlord. He's supply blocked right now. This is already so hard to hold on without falling behind against. But dude, he still hasn't built an Overlord. He's building a Spine Crawler now. Dark's floating 170 minerals. He's building a drone right now to replace the drone that built the Spine Crawler. He finally starts the second queen, but he's literally not building an Overlord. Oh, no, dude. I mean, this is a good build choice by BYUN to punish the exceptionally greedy gasless build. But as Dark, you need to keep this queen alive. So he's got to get his queens together, save energy for transfuse. Don't drop a creep tumor there. Get to the high ground with this queen. Because that Spine Crawler should be fine. I think now that it's almost done, especially with the Lings buying time for it. He's got 3 queens building now as the 3rd hatchery did unsupply block him. But man, that was such a big delay on this unit production. He can't lose this queen. He can't lose this queen. Oh gosh. Oh my god, where's the other queen? Oh my god, the other queen. She could have come down. She hasn't been doing anything in the main this whole time. She's been out for 15 seconds. Look at her energy. He could have had that queen on the ramp with her to at least kill some of these Reapers. Dark making some big mistakes in this early game. I think he was shocked. I don't think he was expecting 3-Rex Reaper. I think he thought BYUN was like just gonna let him get away with this again, and he's getting punished hardcore. Dude, the Reaper's avoiding the Ling surround so smoothly. His micro is so good. A couple of these Reapers should go down, but okay, 2 Reapers do go down there. I guess it's a total of 3, but dude, the damage has already been done. He's so far ahead. Look, his command center's halfway done. 3rd command center is about to start building. He's already up 7 workers. How do you ever get control of this base again? Oh, the drones. 1 drone goes down. The other drone does run around the left side of the gas and should escape. But that means, look at this. Reaper's back on the high ground. There's no spine in the main, no queens in the main, no creep connecting those bases completely just yet. And these Reapers going to have an absolute party. Fighting the Lings on their own is easy pickings for these Reapers. And look at this. Can just jump out as well. Picks off a whole bunch of Zerglings. Keeps that red hit point Reaper alive. Has to cancel a bunch of drones on the third, does Dark. Now realizing his Spine's out there in the open, it's taking a massive amount of damage. I think in that, he should have just left it. I think he could have gotten range to transfuse it in time, but Dark not quite able to stabilize against the 7 Reapers. BYUN saying, dude, if you play this greedy, this is going to bring us back to 2016, that World Championship BlizzCon Grand Finals, where I ruined you with Mass Reaper. That was when the Reaper was stronger than it is now. That was back on maps with shorter rush distances. But if you keep playing no gas, you know, greedy third hatchery, I'm going to punish you with this. To be fair, I actually think Dark can defend with this build. I just really feel like with the Overlord being completely forgotten, he messed up really bad. He's super dead at this point, guys. If he comes back from here, it would be one of Dark's more epic comebacks, because he's just unable to get any mining up. What's he got? 15 on the natural, 11 in the main. So, I mean, the fact that he has 26 workers on minerals is something. Can't defend the third hatchery, though. And, of course, you can see the Terran economy is all over it. Yeah, it's an absolutely adequate GG there, guys. You're not getting out of that as Dark. You're going to lose your third base. He can still keep harassing you and keep you pinned back for a long time. And behind it, you've got 3 barracks, 2 reactors, a tech lab, Stim's halfway done, Starport medevac swap's getting ready, third command center's. I mean, it's just, Terran is so far ahead in every single regard. All right, well, that's going to even things out there. BYUN with a vicious punishing build order there. And he's sending his depot, a depot SCV out nice and early, which means he's going for the low ground depot. So probably a 2 racks Reaper is pretty standard here. I doubt he does 3 racks again. And I would expect a hatch gas pool from Dark. A bit more of a standard opening. Also on this map, playing gasless doesn't make sense, because if you look at the distance from natural all the way out here to your third, Queens can't cover that very well. It's too far away, right? You need Ling speed to help defend it. So on this map, you'll almost always see the Zergs play hatch gas into spawning pool. And indeed, send this drone down just before 200 minerals. And you get there right when you have 300. Instantly put the hatchery down on 48 seconds. And then you build 3 more drones. 1 goes onto minerals. You see you've only got 15 on minerals. So he's going to rally this to this patch, because that's the patch that only has a single worker on it. You'll notice all the other patches have 2 workers kind of taking turns. And then the next one goes to gas, and the next one after that to spawning pool. And this build just times out so nicely. Gas goes down about a minute 9, minute 8, somewhere around there. And then you'll see the last drone. Look at that. Just as you get 200 minerals, arrives where the spawning pool wants to go. And there's a reason everyone loves this build order. It just times out really nicely. In the old days, we went 17 hatchery in early Legacy because we wanted to get the 16 workers on minerals as quickly as possible. But we realized with this, not only does this all time out nicely, the spawning pool will finish at the exact same second as the hatchery, which means both your queens build at the same time, means your injects are perfectly synced up. So it allows you to go inject at the same time, even though often you do go creep tumor. And it allows you to just kind of get this beautiful symmetry in your build. Now, on the other hand, BYUN's gone 2 ranks Reaper. He's got the second depot on the way. And remember, about 210 is usually when that command center goes down. So it is a pretty heavy commitment to pressure. But it's one which delaying your command center 30 seconds often considered worthwhile. As the 50 gas comes in, starts his third Reaper. Question is, do we commit to 4 or 5 Reapers and try to kill the third hatchery? So far, it looks like Dark's going to go straight Ling speed before third hatchery because he's anticipating this build. Even before seeing a second Reaper, this is only the first one. He already is like, you know what? I know what you're going to do. You're BYUN. You love doing this. This is the standard in the Korean meta. Dark pulling back one Zergling. Pushes back this Reaper pretty well. Nice micro on the Zerglings. He should just run away now. Wait for that Queen to pop out. Try to protect those Zerglings as best he can. 5th and 6th Ling does come out. Gets a bit of damage on the Reaper, and of course these Queens are out of the map. Now, Solar almost always goes for a Creep Tumor early to connect these bases against this, but Dark goes for the double inject, and a third Queen starts up in the main. Now, these Lings can block the Reaper ledge on this map because it's so narrow, and he's going to try and send his Queens out front to protect that third hatchery. He had a drone hidden down here. Behind it, third command center's on the way for BYUN. BYUN's gone 4 Reapers, by the way. 4th Reaper is coming across. Behind that, we're going to see a factory and then Marines. Hatchery, you can see its hit points. 160, 150, 140, 130, 120. He's going to have to cancel it. Dark is happy to cancel it, apparently, because he's not making any move out there to defend. He knows if he moves out there, the Reapers might be able to outposition the Queens, run in and kill some drones. Slight supply block on 44 here. I would say this is not the worst of the Dark supply blocks by any means, but the fact that he gave up his third, I am a little surprised, I guess, that he's invested in all these Zerglings so early. Oh, he's going to try and interrupt on the high ground. If the Reapers run into you, you can surround them quite well. But just chasing BYUN's Reapers, it's almost impossible to catch them. A little slow to move out here with another drone to take the third hatchery, but better late than never. 345, the third hatchery goes down. Natural and main are both mining at 350. And I feel like this is just an even opening. Maybe slight lead to BYUN, since he didn't lose any Reapers, canceled the third hatch, probably a slight lead to him, but it's pretty slight, whereas I feel like these 2x Reaper openings always fall behind against Serral's 15-15 opening and his variation. So I do wonder, you know, when people are going to start learning that. And something I guess we'll talk about more when we finally get to look at some more of the Serral and Maru series that have happened recently. Because I think we've really seen that those Korean players aren't as effective as Zergs. It's shutting down these 2x Reaper openings. Whereas you'll see everyone when they play Serral, the players who are most successful, they never play the 2x Reaper opening. The players that keep trying to mix in 2x and 3x Reaper against Serral, very low success rate. Pig, why are you talking about Serral? We're looking at Dark. Got to talk about the best player in the game, guys. Got to talk about the best player of a race. So that's usually who people learn from. Guys like Dark have kept having great success doing things their own way. Like I said, 50-50 versus BYUN. I do favor him versus BYUN on LAN, though, because of the fact that Dark overperforms at LAN. BYUN underperforms. Maybe not overperforms, but Dark definitely just is very consistent at performing, I guess is one way of saying it. BYUN's Reaper Hellion gets pushed back. Third base is now fully saturated. Very important for Dark to speedrun saturating this hatchery. It was so delayed on starting that, like, the moment it's finished, you basically need to have it full of workers or you're just going to be trailing. And likewise, getting a fourth hatchery up as quickly as possible. This is really important to make up for the early deficit. Now, unfortunately, he goes for the wrong upgrade first. You're meant to go Carapace first, but Dark, out of habit, he always just selects the Evos and just hits both buttons. Kind of just mashes them. And he doesn't seem to have realized the Carapace didn't start, because you're meant to go 1-1 before starting the Baneling Nest. Baneling Nest at the third base as well. Really vulnerable position. Very inadvisable. Dark always throws his buildings down just willy-nilly wherever. And he does get punished for it sometimes. It has lost him games before. So definitely, if you're going to be more of a methodical player, do not copy his building placement. But, he noticed the Carapace. That's good, dude. I was like, if he starts a lair with his next 100 gas, his Carapace is just never going to finish. But he did realize it's a 40-second delay. That's okay. That's absolutely playable. Hellbat timing coming in. He's got 12 queens, guys. I was going to say he needs banelings, but he actually doesn't. With 12 queens, such a silly queen count in terms of just safety. He's invested an immense amount of minerals. That is 1,800 minerals worth of queens. Look at how much transfuse. The transfuse they have is insane. Lings trying to avoid their Hellbats. I like the way the Lings move in and out. The transfuses are amazing. Not a single queen's gone down yet. One queen up front getting low. One queen goes down, but the Hellbats are now gone. And yes, the transfuses got used up, but all the Hellbats are gone, and that is an excellent trade for the Zerg. Even though the units lost tab is, of course, not in your favor, part of that is, remember, losing a hatchery castle, a drone, a few units to the Reapers in the early game. And the fact is, you're on 74 drones going to 4 bases. Dark is miles ahead in terms of economy right now. Yes, the third's landed. Yes, it's got workers on it. But it feels like, look, the extra barracks are only now getting their add-ons, right? He's got 3 barracks building, 4th and 5th only now building their reactors. It feels to me like BYUN is going to need to find more value with these guys. And to be fair, where are Dark Zerglings, guys? He's building 10 Lings right now. He's almost supply blocked again. He's this is that greedy point. Remember, I told you, Dark's really weak at this point. He's building a macro hatch, a 5th base, a Hydra Den. He's barely building Ling Bane right now. His Baneling speed's only just started. It's exceptionally late. His queens don't have any transfuses left. This is only a small pack of Marines, but Dark is not really set up with the massive units you want at this point to defend. And he's only just noticed the supply block and building 6 Overlords. He lost the last game because of a supply block. This game, he's going to lose that 5th base, but that's not the end of the world, you know, to cancel. Kind of awkward fighting this with slow Banes, but I think as long as he clicks on the medevac, that could be really helpful there. BYUN respects it, backs away. He's going to go back in for the drop. I like that. The pretend to retreat, go back in. It's leaving a few units on the ground, maybe just hoping to, like, snipe a hatchery when it starts. Spore Crawler well placed, though. Yeah, and because that ferries him in this direction, the queens can get damaged. BYUN just needs to leave. Because the longer you stay here, the scarier this can get. Oh, loses a couple Marines. Great cleanup by Dark. BYUN's going to really push this south side and deny this. This forces the 5th base in the north for Dark, which is very hard to defend. That hatchery, I always end up with that hatchery as well because it's in a straight line, but it is a little bit nasty. Double drop in the back for BYUN. Will he find damage? Ling Bane trying to get back there. He's going to stim in the front as well. BYUN with a crazy move right now, but he does catch most of Dark's. Ling Bane going into the main base to defend there. No way! Dude, the Banelings. Oh my god, BYUN focuses them all down. BYUN manages to focus down all the Banelings, the Queens and the Hydras falling. I can't believe it. This is such a risky move. It's such a knife's edge move, but he's made it work. And now he's got 3 tanks on the front line as well. BYUN, I really felt was behind in this game, but he forced Dark's whole army to F2 into the main, which is a huge mistake. That being said, BYUN leaves his rally exposed. Oh, okay, he's got to get Marines into this little pocket there, and then raise the door. Yeah, he clicks the Marines into the defensive pocket. There's no way you can fight that. You can't fight into that pocket. Oh my god, as long as you... Okay, raises the door. He's going to pull back with his army. I think that's a good call. I think that's a very good call. Maybe trap some of these Lings as well, but the Lings for Dark look like they're well micro. They move out to the left, and... Oh, save the tanks, save the tanks. Beautiful pickup. Dark was trying to stop those tanks from getting home. The tanks get saved. Dark, he's got the third base went down and the 5th, which means... This is now the 3rd base. The 4th base is super exposed on the top. Thankfully, it's up. So Dark does still have 70 worker mining. His +2 carapace is on time. So that's going to catch up soon. It was, you know, 2-2 versus 1-1 or 2-1, I believe, during that fight. But I tell you, that double drop in the back, yes, it sacrificed itself. Super worthwhile. Very dangerous move. After being evicted from the main, going straight back in with a double drop over 2 spores. You could tell it kind of shocked Dark. It was such a crazy, aggressive... A surprisingly aggressive move that Dark had discounted it as an option, and he simply sent way too many units in the main to respond when he could have just pulled his drones away, maybe lost a bit of mining, maybe a bit of production. His hatchery was not going to go down to that. And he could have then, you know, dealt with the units on the front as actually the bigger threat, but Dark got so shocked by the drop in his main that he overreacted to it, and it was BYUN forcing that overreaction that opened up the opportunity. Now gets a hatchery cancel. Dude, Widowmine's getting good shots on the Hydras as well. Luckily, those other Hydras do pull back, but... Units lost have 3,000 resources in favor of BYUN. He's miles ahead. If he stims on that base and gets the drones, it's huge, but Dark gets there in position. Dark splitting his army, realizing if he loses this base, he's screwed. Marines pulling back on both sides. Single very brave Hydralisk does chase those Marines in the bottom. Ooh, bit of a nasty move there. Lucky he didn't lose that medevac. BYUN does save it and pull back. He's up to 8 barracks now. Does have concussive, and his 3-3's finishing. Oh, if BYUN just goes, I think he might kill him, guys. Did he just siege a Liberator? What is that? Oh, new double drop in the bottom. He's like, hey, that worked before. Let's do it again. Go past this 4, unload in the back. Not a bad move. This is actually a really good point, because if he can just keep trading with Dark, Diarche Wilder, he could actually do very well here. Marine Marauder Widowmine coming in right now. Baneling's trying to get on top of the Marines. Ooh, that Widowmine did friendly fire one of the medevacs. As long as these Marines focus that one Baneling down, though, I think this is a good fight for BYUN. Oh, Lings were on top of the drop this time, though. The Baneling Hydra. Oh, that Hydra's kind of blocking the choke point a little bit. How many drones can he get in the north side? Oh, he gets jumped on. BYUN. Oh, no. Way too deep. And he just lost all of his medevacs. Guys, he just lost all his medevacs. He only has 2 medevacs. Where are his medevacs this game? And all of his Marines getting wrecked by Hydras. The drop in the back does do fantastic damage. This should be the moment where he just wins the game. But he just lost way too many Marines and medevacs there. He lost only 5 medevacs this game. How does he only have 2 at 12 minutes? He should have like 12 medevacs. Guys, he just hasn't been producing out of his starport. For whatever reason, yeah, you can see he just queued up 6 medevacs. He just cancelled 2 of them to spend money on command centers instead. BYUN should have this game over. I mean, it still looks like it's game over in his favor, but look, all this bio is weak. If he commits into a fight with a bunch of red hit point Marines, that's going to give insane value to Dark's Hydras. Dark's trying to make Lurkers and Banes. He's got the base on the bottom. He is hanging on to 5 bases so far. Can he defend this, though? Oh, losing that base is a big problem. But the bio, no medevacs at all, guys. He's stimming. Red and orange hit point bio. Gets the hatchery. Get out of there, BYUN. Run. BYUN, you need to run away, dude. Oh, the Baneling's trying to get on top. Widowmine does get some pretty big friendly fire. He's got to pull all this bio away. It's so wounded. Where the heck are his medevacs? In the bottom right side, that medevac is going to go down to the Queens. And the Marauder will go down as well. Nice transfuse for Dark. Dark's back to 4 bases. Dark is still looking super dead. BYUN is slowing down and building Ghosts now. Completely unnecessary. Against a guy on Lingbane Hydra, you really just need mobile units. Yes, he's making Lurkers, but you don't need Ghosts against like a billion dudes. This is going to give Dark time to potentially recover. Dark is still looking rather dead, Zos. He's still down massively in the upgrades. 3-3 versus 2-1-2. With his +2 range coming in. But he's getting Lurker upgrades. He's trying to rebuild a 5th base in the bottom. And BYUN only now is finally, slowly healing these bio units up. I got to tell you guys, the lack of medevac production, as well as these units kind of getting caught on that ridge before, is a big cost. He's going to stim in, because that's what BYUN likes to do, is be very aggressive. Thing is, he can only save some of these units, and they're already very wounded. Stim's about to wear off as well. There we go. Stim wears off. He saves some of the units, but does trade out quite a few. I think it was an okay trade there. He is still ahead 4,300 in the resources. So good trading overall for BYUN, but his 5th base is only now landed. He's not like mass expanding, but he does have 5 orbitals. If this planetary gets up on the south, that'll be big. He's got another army coming forward with the tanks. If he denies this hatchery, that'll be awkward for Dark. Keep in mind, Dark's the kind of guy who will hold you off with Lurkers and send 4,000 Lings across the map. And if you commit too much to a push like this, it can be kind of hard. Oh, I like the way the Lings and Hydras screen for those Lurkers. So the bio overcommits in. It's super wounded. Once again, no medevac energy. He's lost so much momentum now, has BYUN. He's got 4 medevacs on over here. He needs more medevacs on that right side, but he's sending them all to the left. And this is a huge mistake that BYUN's making in this game, where he's played such a brilliant game, and now it feels like he's losing momentum and kind of control, like he's inching tanks forward here, but this bio is so wounded. This is a sort of situation I find myself in quite a lot, where I lose track of things in the chaos. 8 medevacs on one side of the map. Finally, he splits 3 medevacs to the right. I think he's realizing, wait a second, this is not the best move for me. Leaves that tank unguarded. It goes down. Lurker's getting a few shots off on the bio. He's going to attack down the bottom with a bunch of Marines and Ghosts, but Ghosts are only really good when they're behind a bunch of other things. He does snipe some Baneling Cocoons, but there's no Widow Mines here, no Hellbats. I mean, he's going to try and fight it out with Cloak. Can he take down the Overseer, though? Unlikely. He does save a lot of the units, at least. Good medevac hot pickups, but you can just see Dark kind of holding on, keeping the units lost stuck at about 4,500. So he's not trading any worse. He's just kind of surviving and maxing back out, catching up in the upgrades slowly with 3-3. Dark is simply hanging in there, and he's hoping that BYUN's going to make big mistakes. I imagine we're going to see a Nidus Worm. Nidus is going to try to pop in the back door at some point as well. 2 more starports and a fusion core for BYUN. BYUN's building 2 more command centers. Not the big fan of command centers on the front line. Very exposed. It means if you lose control of that area even once, Zerg will run in, snipe a bunch of command centers and kill you. 7 more Lurkers are on the way, so it's going to be 16 Lurkers against 13 Ghosts. The Ghost energy is very important against that. If the Lingbane Hydra can take out a bunch of these Ghosts, that could be big. These little Marine Ghost armies not really finding the value anymore. Where is the Widow Mines is one of the questions we have to ask. There's not many Widow Mines mixed into these armies. The Lurker's going to shove up the guts. This is exactly what we're worried about. So much of his bio's in the top right of the map. It's not here right now. Dark is the kind of guy who will be behind the whole time, and then he'll just shove it in between your rally point. BYUN needs to pull back and not fight this. Give up this top right base and just trying to defend the natural and the bottom left side, and then give up ground. He has to give up ground. He can't fight into this, but he doesn't have any tanks, man. No tanks. He's got to try and defend this with Ghost. So he's picked up army into the natural. That should be safe. These guys are going to attack, but they're attacking through choke points. No, BYUN has to give up the ground. Like I said, he's got to wait for Dark to come to him. But Dark, because he lifted his whole army into the natural, he gave up this area. He should have left the army down here to protect this base. He was worried about his production getting busted, but the new units coming out could have defended that. Oh my gosh, is Dark actually getting back in this game with this? It looks like it. He's doing massive damage. Dark, he was on his last life for so long. The Lurker's getting flanked though. Get BYUN breakthrough. Only 1 Lurker left over. Okay, the Lurkers finally get broken. The Lings getting cleaned up by the Bio Ghost Lib as well. But 40 SCVs have gone down and a few command centers in the meantime. He lost the northern base. He lost the mining on the 3rd. That orbital, please do not let that burn down, mate. That is he's going to lift it. Should be able to save that. How many command centers we got? 5 orbitals, 4 command centers. It's not a bad economy count. Oh my god, another Lurker run by comes in. He doesn't have anything to deal with this right now. He was going for a counterattack. His whole army has to go home. BYUN, he's got to commit to the counterattack. Or but there's Banelings. Banelings on creep. You can't really break a guy who's going Banelings on creep very easily. That Lurker does go down, and look at the way he's just splitting these Lurkers up. Dark. Killing all the barracks as well. The command center just burned down. It never got repaired. My god, Dark is having an absolute blast in this game. The Lurkers finally get cleaned up. Wait, no, they don't. There's still one on the front line. That's going to take another scan. That might be like his very last scan. And there's still a giant army gathering for Dark, realizing he's done big damage. I think he might even realize, hey, BYUN's just going to kind of all in now. Like, I just need to survive and defend. He's going to do Ling run bys because that's the cheapest way of doing a run by. Gets on top of this base, which is an unupgraded command center. Starts picking off SCVs. This is a very classic Dark comeback. But we have to say, BYUN left big, wide openings. He let up the gaps in the pressure. He also transitioned Ghosts when there was no need to transition Ghosts. And I actually think that was a mistake there. It's one of those things where obviously I get it. You know, they counter Vipers, they counter Lurkers, kind of. You know, they're not amazing against Lurkers, but they do pretty okay against them, especially when you're in charge and you have the kind of forward positioning. You're like, this is where Ghosts do well against Lurkers, when you're just running up and scanning and sniping them whenever you choose, right? They're not so good when the Lurkers have got, you know, they're on top of your production and they're kind of in between all your units and you're trying to micro Ghosts in 3 or 4 different places. That's where Ghosts start to suffer. Lingbane on this north base still defending. I mean, Dark's still on his initial 5 bases. His income is starting to dip. Excuse me. It's just that BYUN, his income is nothing. It's a paltry 25 SCVs for him. He feels super all in right now. I mean, with Mules, maybe he could recover if he rebuilds his SCVs. Like, looking at this, he sees that Dark has very little economy. He's got to be worried, though, about Dark shoving the production again, right? It's good to keep out, like, I like the double drop in the north, but he's got to defend this base and his production. And those are very far apart, and Dark knows it. Yeah, Dark knows it. And he's still got Creep Highway in the middle. Such a good launch pad. So he's just going to dive straight through the middle. Meanwhile, BYUN's whole army is taking so long to clear up 4 Lurkers and a Spore Crawler. And look at that. Planetary exposed Lurker Baneling. He says, this is your last income, isn't it? And of course it is. BYUN losing all the SCVs and the command center. Not enough Hydras to necessarily bother chasing down the orbitals. BYUN's going to shove in on the front at the same time, take out 3 Lurkers. The transfuse not enough, but takes a lot of damage doing it. And you can see the whole army's coming back right now for Dark. That Widowmine actually got a lovely shot off. Libs are facing in the wrong direction, though. The Bio does take down the front layer of Banes. But look at that parasitic bomb in the middle of the Medivacs is massive. He somehow splits that off. I don't even know how. Saves a bunch of the Bio. But look at the supply. The supply does not lie. Oh, he's going to try and jump on the Lurkers with a combat drop. Crazy move with a mostly Marine army. And that Lurker volley just shredded all of those Marines. Beautiful play right there for Dark, dude. What a ridiculous comeback. I mean, I think there's a lot of players saying, man, if BYUN was playing online, that's probably a 2-1 in lead of BYUN. But we have to go back and just look at that turning point, because you could see how far ahead he was and then how drastically things changed when he ran out of medevac juice, but also lost his last medevac. So this is the point, guys, where he hasn't lost... He's lost 3 medevacs. He's only got 5. Look at the production tab. I'm just going back from like 8.5 minutes onwards. And look at that production tab. Let's just go to like 8 times speed. Just watch the production tab. So I'm on 4 times speed. No medevacs. Let's go to 8 times speed. Finally, okay, so he builds 2 medevacs at 9 minutes. And then he builds another 2 medevacs. Nice. So he does build 4 medevacs between 9 and 10 minutes. And then 10 minutes, there's just no medevac production all the way to 11 minutes. And then 11 minutes, still no medevac production. All the way through to 12 minutes when this big fight happens, and then he restarts it, and you can see he panics and queues up like a billion medevacs there. So there was at least 2 minutes without medevac production between 10 and 12, and it looked like maybe between 7.5 to like 9 minutes, he'd only built 2 medevacs as well, or something like that. So very low medevac production. To explain to you guys how that happens, what happens is often as a Terran, right? You look at this like from BYUN's point of view, I guess this is a bad moment in the game. Let's just find somewhere where he's looking at the front, right? So here, when he does this beautiful maneuver, right, every now and then you're selecting your production and you're going build Marines, build Marauders, build tanks, build medevacs. And if you're busy microing and you're just quickly tapping those buttons instinctively, you're not really looking at your money and checking you have enough money. So you might do that, and you might only queue up the Marines and Marauders, and then you're out of money. So the clicks on the build siege tank, build medevac actually doesn't do anything. But you don't realize it didn't do anything because you're straight back into the micro, right? The whole time. You're not actually... And then it happens again 30, 40 seconds later. You do the same thing. Once again, you just don't quite have the money. Especially because the medevacs are usually at the end of that sort of production cycle. And that can really, really cost you. I also just wanted to show you guys that 11-minute fight one more time. Or 11.5 minutes where... This is where it really cost him. He was way ahead, was BYUN, and he took some very good fights. But remember, one medevac goes down to a Widow lane, and it's just these two medevacs alone. No other medevacs on this north side. And look at how much this bio gets caught here. This positioning, this is actually a really bad fight, I think. Even that, like, because look, Dark's down 50 supply, but look how many Marines get trapped. They can't micro back. And both medevacs go down, as well as a lot of the Marine Marauder. And what does he kill? He kills some Zerglings. You'd think trading is good for BYUN right here, but then he loses even more Marines there. And then, of course, starts up medevac production again, but the next fights as well were much weaker because he wanted to keep attacking, but his units were so wounded. Whereas obviously with the advantage he has at this point, 4 base against a very damaged 4 base, just getting on 5 base Zerg, he should have been able to roll over him, but he couldn't keep up the momentum. And first maybe 10-12 minutes of the game looked really good for BYUN, and then from there it was just Dark working his way back into the game once this pace slowed down. All right, well the momentum did fall away from him in that last game. BYUN in the bottom left, Dark in the top right. Apologies, by the way, I've just realized I did have the always health bars on rather than the damaged for most of this cast, so I'm sure someone's already commented on that. I'm sorry, mate. I do always try to have it here on the damaged, where only the damaged health bars show up, so it just looks a bit nicer, but I apologize for that one. Second barracks proxied, making it look like a 1-Rax Reaper when it's actually the second Reaper is going to come out very quickly. So there's going to be 2 Reapers super early. BYUN's going to look to really disrupt Dark's opening. If Dark went gasless 3 hatch here, he would be screwed. But notice he's got the guy to the gas, the guy to the pool. It's a hatch gas pool. Maybe not screwed, but he'd definitely be looking at, you know, he'd struggle against the first few Reapers. They'd get a lot of damage. This is not all in. This is obviously like, hey, you can still wall off, build the command center behind it, get up a factory or whatever, float this guy home, but definitely going to be a bit more of an aggressive start for BYUN, looking to get some momentum. We go from that second depot over that side, looking for the Overlord, trying to sneak around the back, as that is common on this map. And I always feel like if the Overlord gets down into this backspace without Terran knowing about it, it always has so much good scouting potential. It's just because the Terran is not aware that it's there and does therefore not hide anything from it. Dark only needs this game to finish the series. BYUN will need this and the next. 2 games to win it for BYUN. It's going to be tough. I'm not sure what game 5 is, but this map's very balanced. It often goes to late game on Alcyon, and it's not as favored as, say, Oceanborn is for Terran. It's pretty even, in my opinion. But 8-Rax is really good here, as well as a lot of pushes through that watchtower are just incredibly powerful. Reaper's coming in second. Reaper's going to jump in from that left side momentarily. You can see it on the left side of our screen. And as they join up, that drone, quick spore trick. Are you able to DPS down a spore with 2 Reapers? I didn't think you could, but maybe you can. It's a pretty big expense, though. A lot of time invested here when he could have been going after the Zerglings. I'm not sure how I feel about that. I feel like going after the Lings into the main may have been the better call. Starts getting damage on the Queen very early, though. Interesting. Wow. Really getting a lot of damage done. I like all these extra volleys he's getting off without even getting hit in return. Oh, he stays a bit long, though. BYUN, pull back. Careful. That was very greedy by BYUN. A very BYUN-esque maneuver. Command center's gone down behind a factory. Will start here. His SCV was nowhere nearby, though, so a little bit sloppy, guys. That's a big delay on the factory. Oh, he finds the drone that was hiding down there to take the 3rd base. Ling speed's on the way. 20 drones against 23 in favor of BYUN right now. BYUN jumps up. Oh, my lord. Almost loses those. Yeah, that's the way you want to do it. Try and pick off those Lings from the low ground. Well, he's already forced a lot of Lings out. Ling speed's almost done. You don't want to lose these Reapers. Ling speed's about to finish. He might be getting ahead of himself. BYUN is going in for big damage potential, but you know what? You see this many Zerglings, it's time to leave, mate. And indeed, he will leave at that. The Lings are going to try and cut him off by running through the middle of the map. Factories up, reactors there. Not going to be able to swap those. I would actually send this barracks to the right for a second to make sure your Reapers don't get caught. Oh, no, he's going to get caught, I think. Can the Lings trap him? He's got to block that. Yeah, Dark blocks him. If you can't get through those minerals, you can't get up to the high ground. BYUN, though, oh, he does a good juke. BYUN is so good at juking this way, then that, this way, then that, picking off a lot of these Zerglings. But there we go. 1 Reaper goes down. And these Reapers, I think they're safe now because he can just move right, move left, move right, move left, jump up, jump down. See here? He can fight those 4 Lings. And, oh, he will lose one, though. But he can get back to the high ground now. And that should be that. Units lost tab shows us 12 Lings and a drone for 2 Reapers, but also a massive delay. Dude, his 3rd only just started. He's had map control for ages, and he just started his 3rd hatchery. Dark. Uh-oh, that is not ideal. Not ideal whatsoever. Bunker building. BYUN thought he might be getting all in here. He's got 2 barracks on reactors. No tech lab. He really wants to swap that factory around for sure. He's just worried about when he was safe to do it. The barracks will build a tech lab on the outside and start stem. Hopefully he doesn't lose that to any sort of nasty counterattacks. Roach Warren and a lair on the way. Dark is going to start droning this third, even though obviously it's... Oh, actually, he's just oversaturating his main for now. It's only on single gas. Super Hellion going to pick off an exposed tumor on the left side before backing away, but already there's like 6... Yeah, was that 6 active creep tumors? One in the main base will spread around there as well whenever he remembers to. Third command center is done for BYUN. Double engineering bay upgrades are going. It's got stim started, and I think we should see that factory swap off in the near future. For now, though, 4 Hellions, 2 Reapers, and he is continuing Hellion production for the moment. Like to see more consistent SCV production for BYUN here. You can see there, does restart SCVs as the third base floats to the natural. 8 Roaches being built defensively for Dark. Dark doesn't have a worker advantage, guys. 45 against 43. Being forced into 8 Roaches, the double evo now. It really feels to me like this is a perfectly playable position for our Terran, because the Zerg doesn't have massive creep control, doesn't have a lot of mining. Yeah, I mean, you know he's going to overtake and get up to 66 drones very quickly now. But by that point, if Terran keeps up SCV production, guys, BYUN's just not building SCVs. BYUN is just not building SCVs at all right now. BYUN, he's building 3 Marines. He's got 400 minerals floating. He builds a single SCV. What is going on? BYUN's faltering right now, guys. He's making really basic macro errors. The Metavacs in the last game, he's not building SCVs. Now he starts SCVs. He should be ahead on workers still at this stage. This is just a very light Roach pressure. It's not a real commitment for Dark. Doing this, he probably thinks the Marines have stim as well. Even though we know he doesn't, committing there would be kind of crazy because those, what is that, 10, 12 stim Marines will smash you. All right, back on worker production. So BYUN's fixing his mistake there. At least he's non-stop worker production from this stage, and he should be rallying to that third base by this point. There we go. You can see all third bases rallying over quick, fast fourth. BYUN's going to play late game. He's going to play late game, which is cool, but if you're going to play a very defensive late game, more than ever, non-stop worker production is very important. Now, Dark's fourth base finally starts at 7 minutes, and he's stuck on 1-1 Roach. I mean, it feels to me like as long as BYUN just turtles up, gets his tanks out here, defends the mass Roach Ravager potential, that fast fourth command center will put you miles ahead. He's going 3 more barracks, so mass bio production. He's got a very well-timed 2-2. He's going to have a massive 2-2 versus 1-1 upgrade advantage. I don't really see Dark being able to kill him off this opening. Dark's opening has been far from efficient. BYUN's got himself a lead. Now, committing with a Hellbat timing makes no sense here. Not into mass Roach. BYUN's going to do it anyway. He's attacking into a mass Roach concave. That is a crazy move. In what world does that ever work? I mean, I guess he was thinking Dark might be on 4 bases going up to 80 drones, and he was going to catch him being greedy, but I mean, that's a little bit of a shocking decision for BYUN. Throwing away a bunch of Marines and Hellbats there. It's not a huge number, 3 Hellbats, 6 Marines, but unnecessarily risky. Combat Shields isn't done. The Roach Ravager's already on the front. Oh my god, Nidus Worm. Dark's doing a 1-1 Nidus all in off 66 drones. The Roach Ravager. There is a hole in the base there with no vision. Marines got to be careful. This starport's so poorly placed. Oh no. Creates a bit of a wall off, but it does mean that the Metavacs can get focused down, which could be huge. Yeah, the reactor's going to go down so quickly. I do love the defensive setup, though. It looks like this area is pretty much unbreakable. And as I said, I mean, Roach Ravager, especially when 2-2 finishes, it feels like BYUN should be way ahead. But Nidus Worm inside the main, he has no vision. Oh, he just has no vision. So he has no idea this is happening. Building nothing but Marines and tanks right now. It is 5 barracks, 1 factory pumping away. The 6th, 7th, 8th barracks I thought should be finished by now, but apparently that was just the 2nd, the 3rd, 4th, and 5th barracks. So it wasn't even 8 barracks yet. Sorry, that was my misread and my miscommentary there. Command centers in the main are going to lift. You know what? This could actually work in BYUN's favor. He doesn't have any infrastructure to kill, but he's got to be careful. He shouldn't be fighting with his SCVs yet. He needs to pull a lot more Marines up here. Actually, I think he should just give up control of the main. He's just got to survive right now. Remember, Dark is all in. All you need to do is defend at the 3rd. But look at that. Dark runs in. Biles a tank. Oh, he only got 2 Biles. If you repair that, that's huge. Trying to fight in the main base right now. BYUN splits his army in half. This favors Dark. Dark's army is going to do way better in small fights like this because there was only 1 tank and it goes down instantly. All those tanks on the right not fighting. That tank didn't get repaired. It just got biled by a suicide Ravager. BYUN choosing to fight up this ramp is a very bad decision, and it's costing him massively right now. Dark did not have a lot of follow through. No workers on his fourth. Hasn't started 2-2 upgrades. You can afford to lose mining in your main, mule your third and fourth, and slowly creep extra tanks up here. Don't get me wrong. Biles on that third mineral line hurt. It's an awkward position, but I would have really liked to see him inch tanks forward over on that low ground and kind of slowly elevate the bio to the high ground. But fighting, losing those, 25, 23 SCVs and the tank and a lot of his Marines is problematic. Remember, he's also not got many medevacs, so he can't afford to keep stimming. He's got to be very, very sparing in his use of that. And oh my gosh, repair, save the tanks. One tank goes down. If he loses a second tank, that's a huge problem. 2 tanks going down on the front. Meanwhile, BYUN once again splits his army a bit too much. And look at that, man. Roaches in the mineral line, the Roach Ravager on the high ground. They're going to be happy to fight because there's only 1 tank shelling on them. And Dark is just forcing BYUN to overstim. Similar to that last game, that was what got him there. And he even leaves the main base. Doesn't want to risk fighting 1-1 versus 2-2. Dark realizes that he's already done massive damage. He's got his own 4th base up with gases. 2-2s on the way. And I think he's going to go for another maxed out Roach Ravager assault, maybe fully on the front this time. BYUN just needs to leave 2 or 3 Marines in the main to stop that one from going up. Can't really... Yeah, I think just mule the third like crazy. You're gonna mine out your main, your natural and your third pretty quickly, but if he spreads mules on these 2 patches as well, because those are pretty fresh, both at 1,300 or 1,000 minerals respectively. 3 3s on the way for BYUN. He's going to maintain the upgrade advantage. BYUN could definitely get back in this game. I know that sounds bizarre to say. You got to realize the supply advantage is all in Roach Ravager. The infestation pits just started. There's no ling speed. Yes, you've got burrow and tunneling claws. Dark has a lot of annoying mechanics, but as long as you don't let a Nidus get up, harass with some Marines, maybe do a YOLO drop, snipe in a hatchery or 2, as long as the Roach Ravager can't break his tank position, which to be fair, he doesn't really have a tank position. He's got so few tanks right now, then that could go okay. The scary thing is, how do you do counter damage to the economy of Dark as BYUN? Because if you do, these tanks are just so vulnerable. He's got to keep these tanks in a really safe position. You can see he's kind of pulling those back. A few F2s coming in there for Dark. You could tell he F2 those Marines out of the way. I love the triple drop going across the map. It has not been spotted. Nidus Worm tries to go up in the main. It gets shut down. BYUN's back to 58 workers. His 3-3 is almost done. He's going at 8 barracks. Remember, he's got 4 command centers, orbitals as well. So he's always kind of had this comeback ability. He's got 4 mules saved on that orbital. And there we go. Hatchery is going to get sniped. Yes, it's not the most important, but it is still a hatchery. He sees tunneling claws as well. This is really big for BYUN. So BYUN can just pull back now, drop into the main base. There's only 5 queens on the map. That's the only anti-air. He's going to lose probably one of those medevacs. Yeah, 1 medevac goes down, but only 2 Marines inside. Most of those units do get out. Roaches and Ravagers run into the missile turret on the front. It stops them from sneaking in. Every single queen just went down. There is no longer anti-air for Dark. Dark's Hive is not done. The Ravager's getting focused down as well. Great trade here for BYUN. Does leave a few Marines behind, but it is what it is. Plenty of Marines and tanks are at home, blocking these Roaches from getting into that base. Easy cleanups here for BYUN. But wait, he's shoving the front with only a small section of his army. This push doesn't make sense. BYUN's getting excited. He sees that he's starting to win this game now. He's starting to make an amazing comeback, but this push is isolated on its own. The drop in the back there, not able to distract. A lot of his Marine and tank is still at home. He's got 9 tanks, but only 4 on the front. This is a big mistake for BYUN to be out here. Dark senses that, and he pounces on it before the reinforcements can arrive. BYUN's Marines get surrounded as well. BYUN was back into this game, but he just lost a lot of his tanks. Now he's sieging 3 tanks on the front line. Easy pickings for Dark. He will pounce on top. BYUN knew he had to dig deep to fight back in this game, and he actually was doing it. But now he finds himself back down 40 supplies. Got to save these tanks. Another tank goes down. Another 2 tanks. No hot pickup there. Uncharacteristic for BYUN to miss that hot pickup opportunity. But Dark is as always, the king of the scrappy situation, whereas BYUN is the one who does sometimes falter under pressure, and that's making a big difference. Nidus Worm goes up in the back now as well. Hydras are out, so there is some mobile anti-air. They got Groove Spines. Muscular Augment's about to finish. Roach is sneaking by on the left. Roach down there. Roach down there. And, of course, you're about to hear it. The screech of bloody doom. BYUN cannot feel good about this. Marine tank trying to push that left side. Very dangerous to siege those tanks. He's going to do it anyway, realizing he's got to do something to get back into this. The Roach Ravager coming in. The Biles do take out one of those tanks. Hydra's trying to come in from behind as well. The Marines are going to go deep, get more damage. At the same time, there's a lot going on BYUN side of the map. He's losing a lot of SCVs, but can he get this breakthrough? No, it's about to get cleaned up. Hydra's coming in from both sides. That gets cleaned. The Roaches in the natural finally going down. That was happening the whole time. There's about 15 Roaches burrowed into this base. They killed 18 workers, and he's forcing lots of scans out. There's also a Roach on the third base, which looks like it's going to unburrow and be a nuisance. Nidus is still up in the main base. A couple of Ravagers and Hydras do get picked off, as do a lot of medevacs. For some reason, Transformation Servos is getting getting made. It's got to be a misclick there as the Marine Marauder clean up the Roach on the third. Oh no, the fourth gold base. That is huge. This was kind of what was keeping BYUN's economy alive at all in this game. These 3 Marines coming in going to do big damage. I mean, you can see Dark's economy is still not great, but it was really BYUN grabbing that section of army and pushing on creep that screwed him over. I actually think if he gathered his whole army together, or if he just kept expanding and rebuilding and doing multi-prong harassment, that was already going so well for him. That could have done very well. Dark accidentally attacking his own extractor here. You could tell even Dark feeling a bit of the heat, a bit of the chaos getting to him. Roach is coming in from that side. The Marine Marauders should have enough numbers to take care of it, even though they are very, very damaged. Those Roaches going to pull away. No concussive shells in this game. You notice that as those units don't get slowed as they run away. Roach Hydra in the main base. You can also put units on that right side to kill those weak SCVs on the third from the high ground. New Nidus Worm goes up next to the first one. Dark all over this game. Up 40 supply right now. 30 worker lead. 12 army lead. It is 3-3 versus 2-2, and it has been for a long time. Just Dark is always fighting with more numbers, so it's working out okay for him. These guys are so wounded on this right side. That's a dead Medevac and an Abduct to kill another one. Beautiful play. Dark does chase a little bit far through the minerals with those Roaches, but look at this. He's killing Marine Marauder as they pop out. Gold base, single Roach on it. Oh my gosh, that single Roach denying mules and SCVs. The Roach Hydra, whenever they get outnumbered, he just goes back in the Nidus, burrows his Roaches around, and look at this. Hydralisk on the high ground on 9 kills. Oh, make it 10. Oh, almost gets an 11th. The tank finally cleans that up. Scan, but scanning for a single Roach does not feel good, guys. It feels terrible. Another scan for a single Roach, and it's because those Niduses just keep getting up in the back door. Oh, wow. This series, it really feels like, on paper, BYUN did a lot of things kind of better in the opening and middle stages. But at the end of the day, that's not what StarCraft's about. StarCraft's about the whole picture. And Dark has showed this incredible ability to just wriggle his way out of bad situations. I mean, that's always been a big part of his skill set, right? Roach and 2 Hydras pop out. Oh my god, he even pops the Hydra in and out of the Nidus when it gets focus fired. Dark, you tricky boy. Barracks is going to burn down here. Hydra's on the high ground. Roach tunneling into the natural. And more SCVs going to go down from that high ground. 2 SCVs fall. The other one's pulled off mining temporarily. Roach in the natural. He's going to split the Hydras up. One burrowed there. Can burrow a Hydra over here as well. And just forcing scans out of his opponent is more than enough. 3-3 is almost done. Vipers are on the map. That upgrade advantage that's been hanging out for a long time is just going to get obliterated. And once that's gone, well, you're down 30 army supply. He's still down about 35 workers in this game. Sees the Hydra on the left side. Finally, we'll clean that up with those Marines. Overseer's still there in pervert mode, ready to keep popping those Niduses whenever it gets the opportunity. Roaches denying wherever these orbitals land. That gold base, the linchpin of BYUN's economy. It's going to go down. Abducting the tanks into their doom. They get picked off. Nice move in, move out there for Dark. He's got a lot of Roach Hydra on the backside. This isn't his whole army, which is why he's a little tentative about committing everything in here. Just leaves a couple Roaches there and says, hey, use some scans, buddy. Use some scans. BYUN's going to counterattack the left side. Could do well, but there is some Zerglings waiting for him. No melee upgrades on those Zerglings. They don't quite have +3 Chitinous Plating just yet. They're going to go for a counterattack. More Hydras have popped out in the main base. Marines are going to try to deal with that, and they will be able to. Finally, a win for BYUN. Getting a hatchery on the left and the Hydras in the main. Ling Roach does force his orbital lifter to lift, though. Mass Marine Marauder's going to dive the right. 3-3 against 3-2 upgrades. He's got the upgrade advantage. He wants to press it right here, right now. BYUN gets a good trade. He's got units on the left, though, which are not being watched, and they're getting gunned down. A few of those Marines and Marauders do go down. On the right side, Vipers come in. They're very low. You got to be careful with the Vipers. One Viper goes down to the Marines. The next one could be good, though. Abducting the Medevacs. I love that move. Taking away the healing ability. And that's huge. That is just so massive. Nidus Worm in the main does finally get cleaned up. And yes, you killed 14 drones. Actually, does that mean Dark has no income? His third base is still mining with a reasonable amount of mineral patches, but most of his drones don't have anywhere to mine from. Man, this is still kind of close. I can't believe it. I really thought Dark had this in the bag, but BYUN just using the upgrade advantage and his multi-prongs doing well. But there we go. Oh, that's a big section of the income of BYUN. You're going to see BYUN's income drop soon. The Medevac's going down. It's so much wounded. Bio trapped over here. Oh no, that's so much of BYUN's supply just getting destroyed. Meanwhile, in the top left, Roach Hydra having a very close fight. The Marines will eventually overpower, but at what cost? More Hydras come forwards, and it feels like now, trapping every SCV on the right side. Huge losses. You can see Dark's only down a little bit in the units lost but of course has been mining a lot more for large portions of this game. The Marine medevac coming up the left, and the Hydras, I think that's just enough to either win or at least kill enough of the Marines for it to not be a great trade for BYUN. He barely wins the trade until the Hydras come in from the right. Hydras come in, a Viper as well. Parasitic Bomb goes down on those medevacs, just add insult to injury, and Dark with a comeback in 2 of these games. Looking fantastic. Very well played. Dark wins 3-1 and goes through to the semi-finals.